All right, hello ESL, welcome back. Happy Monday. We are going to start the lesson. Okay, so thank you so much for everybody for completing the survey. It was really helpful for me. I know last week was a little bit different, but now we've kind of sorted everything out. So I've decided that class is now going to be held 3 days a week instead. So instead of having class 5 days a week, we're going to have videos just like this on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And with each day, there'll be a small task or one task for many days. Um, we are going to be finishing up our Canadian Studies unit on Friday, and we're going to have a quiz. So I don't want anybody to be nervous about this or stressed. If you've been following the videos, if you have been completing the tasks, the quiz should be quite easy for you. It's going to be multiple choice, and after you complete the quizzes, I'm going to email you your marks. So this Wednesday, we're going to have a little review to practice for the quiz. So today is going to be our last lesson in the unit. Then Wednesday we will prepare, and on Friday we will have the quiz. So if anybody has questions about that, just let me know. But you're going to get all of your review materials on Wednesday. So if you wanted to study before that, you can just look over some of the work that you have completed online already. And with that, we are going to begin our lesson. So today we're going to talk about the 5 regions of Canada. So as you guys know, Canada is sorted into provinces and territories. But what you might not know is that these provinces and territories are also broken up into smaller groups, or bigger groups, I should say, based on kind of like what the land looks like. And the 5 regions of Canada are Western Canada, the Prairie provinces, or the prairies, Northern Canada, the Maritimes, or Atlantic provinces, and Central Canada. Now, some people organize these regions differently, but this is just the way that we're going to learn it for this class. So if you hear some regions that are a little bit different, that's okay. This is just how we'll study it in this class. So let's go through the 5 regions of Canada and learn a little bit about them. So the first one we have is Western Canada, and it actually only has one province in it, and that's British Columbia. And British Columbia is kind of unique because it's along the Pacific Ocean, just along here. And so there's lots of, water, obviously, and it's along the ocean, but there's also a lot of mountains. So if you look along here, this kind of like bumpy edge here, these are the Rocky Mountains that are between British Columbia and Alberta. And this is part of what makes Western Canada really unique in that it has this water and it also has these tall, snow-covered mountains. Lots of animals that you can see either in the ocean or in land, which are humpback whales and black bears and sheep. It's also the warmest region in Canada, and it's got sort of like warm, hot summers and kind of wetter winters because of the ocean. So, industry or the different jobs that are popular in Western Canada are agriculture, so farming and things like this, forestry, so you can see here like trees and wood. But another one that a lot of people don't know about is actually film and television. It's the third kind of like biggest industry in Western Canada. Quite a few movies are made in British Columbia, so if you want to become a movie star, maybe think about moving to Western Canada. Uh, the prairie provinces. So the Canadian prairies are known as Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. And they all sort of have this kind of grassland area. This is what the prairies look like. There's also different kind of, the farther north you go, the more it will look different, but kind of on the lower end, it's got these grasslands and forests. So wildlife include prairie dogs, as well as bison, which we can see here. There's also quite a few owls. In the prairie provinces, there are warm summers, about 16 degrees, and also cold winters at minus 18 degrees. The common industries there include agriculture and farming, of course, because of this beautiful land. But the other large one is oil. So there's actually quite a bit of oil underneath these prairie lands. And as you guys know, we need to have oil to run our cars and all sorts of other machines. So a big kind of money maker in this area is oil production. Okay, so the third one we're going to go to is central Canada. And this includes Ontario and Quebec. So in this area, actually 62% of everybody who lives in Canada lives in this region, which is really interesting. And here there are many forests and lakes, as you can see, because it's along the Great Lakes, which are located here. So we've got these beautiful lakes, large forests, and also big cities. There are many big cities here because a lot of people live here. As you guys know, since we live in central Canada, there are hot, humid summers and very long and cold winters. For industry or jobs, there is a lot of manufacturing, so kind of like different jobs like creating metals and plastics. These are sort of the more popular jobs. And almost forgot here, the wildlife includes moose. You can see one right here, big moose, black bears, and Canadian lynx. Okay, so the Maritimes or the Atlantic provinces. So these guys, as you can see, are all along the Atlantic Ocean, and that includes Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. So, because they're along the ocean, you can always see that they have these kind of like cliffside kind of landscapes, these breathtaking views with these large cliffs. And it's actually some of the oldest settlements in Canada because if you can think of the settlers coming from Europe, this would have been the first place that they would have landed. So there's lots of really beautiful old buildings there, and there's kind of brightly colored homes. It's just a beautiful place. Some of the wildlife includes whales and belugas, Atlantic puffins. You can see them here. Sort of these different animals that live by the sea. The weather is a little different because it's along the ocean, sort of similar to the Western Canada. So it's got these sort of warmer summers and kind of windy and rainy winters with snow as well. So kind of a different climate. Some of the jobs in the industry includes fishing, and then farming and agriculture, of course, forestry. Got lots of forests in Canada, as you know, and coal mining. Okay, so northern Canada. So this is kind of Canadian Arctic or the Canadian North, and it's our three territories here, which include Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. So something that's interesting for this region here, it's actually divided by two different areas. There is near north, which is kind of the lower part here, and some people don't know this. In this lower part here, there are actually large forests and rivers, and it's not kind of that icy, frozen thing that you think of when you think of the north. That's actually in the far north, which is kind of up here, all up here. That's going to be where it's very cold, very few trees grow, and you get that kind of icy northern picture that you get in your imagination when you think of the Canadian North. The wildlife include polar bears, which you can see here, Arctic foxes, walrus, and wolves. So many kind of like Arctic wolves are popular in this area. The weather it varies a lot. It's very different. Kind of the warmest it can be is around 10 degrees in the summer. And in the most northern parts, it can get up to minus 50 degrees in the winter, which is very cold, as you guys know. So for different industries or jobs, they're actually a very popular one in this area is mining. So in this area, there are lots of very valuable metals and kind of minerals in the ground that are mined and are shipped out. Kind of like metal or gold or some diamonds as well. Another popular industry is fishing. So obviously fish are delicious to eat for some people, and it's a popular industry there. Okay, so those are the 5 regions of Canada. I went pretty quickly. I'm sorry, I'm just giving kind of a quick explanation of each. I hope this was helpful. You're always welcome to do more research on your own time, but your task for today is you are going to choose which region of Canada you would most like to visit and why. So we had a look at all 5. You're going to choose one of the 5 that I have mentioned in the lesson, and you're going to explain to me why you would like to visit this region. You can use some of the information that I have given you, or you can do some research on your own. That's also okay. You're going to write your answer as a comment in Google Classroom. If you're in AOBO, you're writing 3 to 5 sentences. And if you're in ESL CO, I would like you to write 5 to 7 sentences. I would like these sentences to be long, to be explanatory, not just kind of like boring, simple sentences. I'd like them to be more complex sentences, really show me what you know and what you have learned. And that's the end of the lesson. You have done it. Congratulations. As you guys know now, there will be no video tomorrow. Our next lesson is going to be on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we're going to be reviewing for the quiz on Friday. If you guys have any questions or any concerns, please don't be afraid to email me at elizabeth.ilward@ocdsb.ca. But I really don't want you guys to be worried. The quiz is probably going to have about 10 questions, and they're all going to be multiple choice. And again, if you have been following along with the online videos, you should be okay. So for your fun fact from Mr. Fish, 80% of all maple syrup in the world comes from Canada, which is really interesting, and most of that actually comes from Quebec. That's all from me, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.